Okay, hello everybody. Oh, you coming? I'm just walking my son. It's in the middle of the pandemic still. I'm not sure where things will be by the time you see this. We're out for our daily exercise, heading to the park and walking along this busy road, the middle way here in Birmingham. And actually, I was thinking as we were walking here that this is rolling. I was thinking as we were walking about this week's reading, of course, Pankaj Mishra's Age of Anger, looking at the history of the present and what an ideal reading for us to conclude with this week. And so I was thinking about the kind of, I don't know, hellscape of this roadway, thinking about a topic I think about often, car culture, and thinking about how car culture, road rage, and issues sort of related come out of the deep individualism of automobility. And so this is sort of the connection of where we are, where I am today, heading to the park on our daily allotted exercise to this week's reading, the final reading of the course. So, and I should also give credit where it's due here. This was Frank Udeker's suggestion that we read this, not mine. And so I've been reading the book. I've been wanting to read it. I should say, if you're new to Mishra's work, there's a lot of entry points. He's an incredible essayist and commentator on events of the day. And as you see in Age of Anger, someone with a tremendous range of citations and sort of traditions that he's drawing on. Here, take my hand. Thank you. So, maybe I think a good place to start is I listened to not long ago an interview between Pankaj Mishra and Adam Schatz with the London Review of Books podcast, talking about COVID, talking about Black Lives Matter, talking about race, talking about sort of the, I guess, the stuff that comes up in the book too, stuff that the book is centrally about, the experience of Western imperialism and its impact on the wider world and what that means. So that would be one place to start, but really any of his contemporary essays would be great as well. I think I first became familiar with his work through a very critical review he wrote of a book by Neil Ferguson, which led to a kind of public controversy. Ferguson's book, Civilization, which was a sort of history of, a history of the West, and in a very sort of pro-Western, I guess, vein, writing about how other countries have taken up the ideas of the West. And Mishra's point was that this was, this sort of seamless narrative, really a theme from Age of Anger, this seamless narrative overlooked, left out many things, and was a really triumphalist kind of account. Ferguson responded by saying that this sort of implied that he was a racist, and it went back and forth. You can check out that controversy. It's from a decade ago now. And then another book which I strongly recommend is Mishra's From the Ruins of Empire, which is a history of Asian interactions with, entanglement with, again, the story of Western imperialism. And in that book you have a sense of, it's not Asian responses to so much as in it's not Europe is the actor and Asia is the responder, but through looking at, again, a very wide cast of characters, looking at how various Asian intellectuals, conservative, radical, in between, thought about the engagement with the West, how they took it up, how they did respond to it in some ways, how they challenged it, and so on. So this is, and again, using, well-known figures, and certainly, at least to me, lesser-known figures, and so with so many citations, there's just so much to learn. So this week, again, in our final week of the module, as always, I'm going to want to talk about what the argument is of the book. I won't say too much about that because I want to see how you sort of put that together. I want to see what your response is to the argument of the book, I want to see if it holds up. If this idea that individualism has led to, here, let's walk over here, make sure we keep our social distance. No, yeah, that's it. Just down here. Down here is good. Not too close to the road. That the idea of the individualism, again, bringing us back to this setting, that what does it lead to? What forms of identity? What forms of anger? And also we might want to think about that, you know, from this perspective, which I'm in right now in the pandemic, thinking about this in relation to other emotions. With the pandemic upon us, and at the moment that I'm speaking, we're pretty deep in the grips of it. We also might want to think about fear as another hope, maybe. We might think about a variety of other sort of emotional registers that we could use to think about our age. So, okay, with that, we're off to the park. I look forward to seeing you for the last meeting of class. I look forward to, in that last class too, talking about, as usual, where you are with your dissertations, and thinking about Mishra's book in connection to the work that you're doing on your dissertations and ways in which it may or may not connect. Okay, we'll see you in class.